In the House of Representatives, there are 150 members each, representing a geographical location in Australia. Members are elected for a period of 3 years to represent the people that elected them. So now let's have a look at what happens in Parliament. The Sergeant-at-Arms is a custodian of the mess. Bearing the mess upon the right shoulder of the Sergeant-at-Arms precedes the Speaker when the Speaker enters and leaves the chamber at the beginning and the end of the day's sitting of Parliament.
The mace symbolises the authority of the Speaker. The mace lies on the table with the orb and cross surmounting it pointing to the government side, that is, to the Speaker's right. The only time that the mace is not removed from the table is when the Speaker leaves the chair, is when he or she has temporarily suspended the sitting of the House, perhaps for a meal or toilet break. The Sergeant-at-Arms has the role of maintaining order in the House and assists the Speaker to maintain order and will forcefully remove members if they become too annoying.
I acknowledge the Ngunnawal and Ngunnawal peoples who are the traditional custodians of the Canberra era and pay my respects to the elders both past and present of all Australia's Indigenous peoples.
The Speaker then states the Lord's Prayer and Parliament is in session for the day. The government always sits to the right side of the Speaker and the opposition sits on the left side of the Speaker.
The Clerk of the House then reads the bill. A bill is proposed to change the laws of the country to be debated and the members of the House to debate the merits of the bill. A matter of public importance has been tabled to the House, namely being that this Prime Minister's chaotic and unfair budget is hurting Australians.
I have received a letter from the Honourable, the Leader of Opposition, proposing that a definite matter of public importance be submitted to the House for discussion, namely, this Prime Minister's chaotic and unfair budget is hurting Australians. I call upon those honourable members who approve the proposed discussion to rise in their places.
This week will be the last week for 5 weeks that Parliament sits. The government has an opportunity over the next 5 weeks to face the people being punished by its unfair and chaotic budget. This Prime Minister loves to talk about manning up and other reference to his courage and strength. Perhaps the Prime Minister of Australia should show the courage to talk to the people being harmed by its budget. Once upon a time, the once great Liberal Party loved to talk about the forgotten people of Australia. Tony Abbott should get out and talk to the people he has forgotten, the people who put him there. He should talk to the families who lose up to $6,000 a year because of this rotten, unfair budget. Does the Prime Minister have the moral courage to talk to a single mum of $50,000 a year and explain why the family payments are being cut?
The Leader of Opposition will resume his seat.
This government, though, is so desperate to get through its shonky legislation that we have seen the chaotic week where, if this government wants to get something done, they have to go tip their furlough to Clive Palmer. What a fantastic step the Liberal Party of Australia and its proud government 10 months ago decided to do so much.
The Leader of Opposition will resume his seat. The Honourable Member for Monmouth and Parliamentary Secretary to the Treasurer has the floor.
If one thing is clear, Labor will not change their mind. Labor will not change their approach. We have a leader of the opposition who could have taken the opportunity to highlight Labor's alternative for how Australia can live within its means. Instead, we had a leader of the opposition who did little more than pour scorn and personally abuse and attack the Prime Minister and the Treasurer of our nation. That in many respects speaks volumes about the Leader of the Opposition and the Labor Party's approach. I move that the Leader of Opposition will join this marks, Madam Speaker.
The leader of House and Minister for Education will resume his seat. I will remind the House that under standing order, the Deputy Leader of Opposition has the chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The American philosopher John Dewey once said, "What the best and wisest parent wants for his own child, that must the community want for all of its children." Those words are more than a century old, but they still speak of the hope that all parents have for their children. But Dewey's words and that hope have been betrayed by this government and its unfair, chaotic budget. The best thing we can do for individual kids like those up in the galleries today, and for the prosperity of our nation, is to invest in education. But what has this government done? It has cut billions of dollars from the education budget. The Paragonski school funding model has been abandoned, which means that the kids who need the most help will not get it under this government. The school kids bonus and family tax benefit Part B have been cut. But perhaps nothing underscores the Abbott government's true values more than their cuts to universities.
The member for Parramatta is won. The member for McMahon is also won.
So, Tanya, how are we going to pay for that?
I call upon the member for Riverina to have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am pleased to be speaking on this matter of public importance, and very pleased that the member for McMahon is in the chamber. Yesterday, he was not in the chamber, and I know he was punted out under Standing Order 94. He reminded me of Cameron Smith of Queensland or New South Wales Paul Gallen being same hand, saying, "I know I've been sin-binned, but can I just please be back on the field because we need help in the state of origin?" Labour certainly needs help. They're in a state of denial about the September 7th election result last year. They're in a state of denial that the people spoke and said they did not want a carbon tax. We went to the last election with a plan. We have to fix up the debt and deficit that has been left by Labour. The previous government turned nearly $50 billion in the bank into projected net debt of more than $200 billion. Listen to this, Labour members who are screeching and crying over there. Australia's legacy was 200,000 more unemployed and on the jobless queues, and gross debt projected to rise $667 billion.
Come on, this is a disgrace!
That is because they are listening to me. The Australian public has stopped listening to your side, and they will stop voting for you next time. There were $123 billion in cumulative deficits.
Shameful behaviour! Shameful! Alright,
Yes, they are, Madam Speaker. You talk about shameful and chaotic, and it's a writ large over on the other side. Madam Speaker, this is ridiculous behaviour, and I call the member to enjoy his remarks. We hear the member for McMahon shouting out, "How many people arrived under your watch? Was it 24,447? Whilst you were the world's worst immigration minister, you were the 28th immigration minister of this fine country, but you were the worst. You were the absolute worst. 50,000 illegal arrivals by boat, and the biggest carbon tax the world has ever seen. Labour's legacy is $1 billion worth of interest payments per month. What could we spend $1 billion on? Let's see. This fine institution, Parliament House, was built, finished and completed in 1988. It cost $1.1 billion. We could build another Parliament House every month from the interest we are paying on the debt that you have left us.
Madam Speaker!
Absolutely, and so there should be. Who turned the first sword? It was none other than Julia Gillard, the former Prime Minister. But what happened is 4 short days later, she went the same way Kevin Rudd did. She went because of the carbon tax. She was stabbed in the back by a chaotic government. She was stabbed in the back by her supposed colleagues.
Rubbish! This is a terrible disgrace!
It is an absolute disgrace, and the Labour opposition is an absolute disgrace. There should be put out of their misery and stop wasting Australian taxpayers' money. The member for Riverina is out of his order with his comments about the former Prime Ministers of our great country, and I ask that he will withdraw his remarks.
The Honourable Member for Riverina will withdraw his comments about the former Prime Minister.
I will withdraw my comments, Madam Speaker.
The Deputy Leader of Opposition.
Madam Speaker, I want to ask for an extension of time so that the member of Riverina can talk about the budget.
I would be happy. No, it is impossible due to be our last day before the winter recess, but it appears that the cold is already setting into the House. The member for Ballarat has the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am very pleased to speak on this matter of public importance about the Prime Minister's chaotic and unfair budget. It is hurting Australians and no more so than when it comes to the portfolio area of health. It is extraordinary that on the last day of sitting before we break, when the budget has been at the top of people's minds for the last few months, that we don't have a senior government minister at the desk able to defend the budget. Very poor form. This government is the most uncompassionate government I have ever seen. Those opposite should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed!
I rise to speak about the government's economic action strategy, which was built on a strong protectionist economy and a safe, secure Australia. Today we have repealed the carbon tax. Scrapping the carbon tax is the foundation of the government's economic action strategy.
What a disgrace you are!
Don't call me a disgrace, you are a disgrace.
You are a disgrace!
You are a disgrace, you are a grot. That is what you are, an absolute grot.
There will be people getting very quick to talk out of here shortly, unless the interjection stops. I could not hear what was being interjected from the noise of both sides.
Madam Speaker, I rise on a point of order. You might ask people to direct their comments through the chair. That might help.
The member for Solomon hasn't got the floor. I offer a comment on the fact that the comments should be directed through and not at me. The member for Solomon has got the floor.
I noticed those opposite are all leaving, which is so disappointing. I noticed they all came in for Tanya and the Quebec, but they're all going now.
Order! You will refer to the members by their seats.
Madam Speaker, I refer to the 1.5-minute mark of the Deputy Opposition Leader speech when she referred to Christopher Pyne. If she withdraws, I will be happy to. I am happy to withdraw, Madam Speaker. He is obviously not Christopher Pyne.
Member for Brandon, this is not conditional. You will also refer to members by their title in this place.
I'm happy to withdraw. This is an interesting matter of public importance.
Hear!
You should listen over there. You might learn something. There's a bullfrog noise coming from the third row over there. I'm not sure what it is.
I rise on a point of order. I rise to defend the honour of the Deputy of Opposition. I thank the member for Dorothy for his assistance. The member of Brandon will refer his comments through the chair. The use of the word "labets" is not in the order of this House.
Madam Speaker, through you, this lot over here have got no shame. They ruined this country. You went up to try and fix a problem and put pink bags in the roof and you killed people. That is the bottom line and that is what happened. And that is what the Royal Commission has shown.
Member for Ballarat, I will take your point of order for I know what it is.
Madam Speaker, I ask the member to withdraw that comment. It is utterly offensive and he should know better. It is unparliamentary.
I asked the member for Brandon to withdraw that comment. It was a reflection of the opposite members that they killed people.
Madam Speaker, I withdraw, but the policies of this government...
Withdraw! Withdraw!
I did! Are you deaf? I know you are done, but are you deaf?
Order! The member for Brandon resume his seat. The Honourable Member for Riverina. Order! The Leader of Opposition of Business is in point of order.
Madam Speaker, I would simply ask that the member adhere to the previous rulings that you have given and address Parliament in an appropriate way.
The member for Brandon did withdraw. Order! Order, I say. The discussion is now concluded. The Leader of the House and the Minister for Education has the floor.
I move that the House do now adjourn. I thank that the members of the House for their forbearance in remaining in camera in the Parliament on Friday to suit the Senate. I wish them a safe 6 weeks break.
Question agreed to. The House stands adjourned until Tuesday, 24th September 2014 at 12 p.m.
This is just a small snapshot of what our federal parliament looks like from the view within the House of Representatives. It's a bit of a crazy place at times, and there are very important decisions are made concerning our great country, Australia.